Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Jagannatha, Swami Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jagannatha, Swami Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jaya Jagannatha, Swami Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jagannatha, Swami Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशील भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशील भक्ति सिद्धांत सदगुरु गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की, वृंदावन सड़ गोस्वामी की, प्रेम से गो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपकुंड राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गौरवन गिरिधाम की, वृंदावन धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, द्वारका मथुरा देश धाम की, गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की, भक्ति देवी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, पतित पावन शिला प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ताई सीतानाथ गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled ladies, all glories to assembled ladies, all glories to assembled ladies, all glories to Guru Garuda Srila Prabhupada की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी मुखां करोति वाचालां भङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधव श्री चैतन्य ईश्वर कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्जनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये Reading from Srimad Bagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, Verse number 32, 112-32. Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Yakshamaano swamedena Nati droha jihasya Nati droha jihasaya Rajalabda dhano dadyo Nanyatra karadhandaya Nanyatra karadhandaya
Yakshamaano swamedena Natidroha jihasaya Rajalabdha dhano dadyo Nanyatra karadandayo
Yakshamaano swamedena Jnanvidroha jihasaya Rajalabadano dayo Nanayatra karadhandayo
Yakshamaano swamedena Jnati droha jihasaya Rajalabdha dhano dadyo Nanyatra karadhandayo Yakshamaano swamedena
Mataji's.
यक्षमाणो अश्वमेधेन
यक्षमाणो श्रमेधेन
याति दोहतिहासया
यातिद्रोहतिहासया राजालब्धनोदर्यो
नान्यत्र करदण्डयो
नान्यत्र करदण्डयोः
Yakshamana, synonyms. Yakshamanaha, designed to perform Ashwamedena by the horse sacrifice ceremony. Nati Droha, fighting with kinsmen. Jihasaya, for getting free. Raja, King Yudhishthira. Labdadanaha, for getting some wealth. Dadyo, thought about it. Nanyatra, not otherwise. Karadandaya, taxes and fines. Translation, purport given by Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Just at this time, King Yudhishthira was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get free from sins incurred from fighting with kinsmen, but he became anxious to get some wealth, for there were no surplus funds outside of fines and tax collection. As the Brahmanas and Vipras had a right to be subsidized by the state executive had and the right to collect taxes and fines from the citizens. After the battle of Kurukshetra, the state treasury was exhausted, and therefore there was no surplus fund except the fund from tax collection and fines. Such funds are sufficient only for the state budget, and having no excess fund, the king was anxious to get more wealth in some other way in order to perform the horse sacrifice. Maharaja Yudhishthira wanted to perform this sacrifice under the instruction of Bhishmadev. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Savidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Tadadi Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakalam Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paridhara Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Dalita Shri Vedaka Vishakanvitam Shama He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabha Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyo Sa Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrindha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So we welcome everyone on this for this Bagavatam class. So chapter 1, chapter 12, verse number 32. So before presenting this, before the presentation, I would like to seek the blessings of all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, so that the presentation should be as it is, without any offenses. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, chapter birth of Emperor Parikshit, when Parikshit Maharaj has appeared, Yudhishthira Maharaj invited all the Brahmanas to explain the magnanimity and the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. So we have been seeing from a couple of months about Parikshit Maharaj, the birth of Emperor, the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. So in this particular verse 32, so it is focused more on Aswameda yagna and about the Brahmanas and about collecting taxes. So regarding this, it has been the verse narrates. So in translation, just at this time, King Yudhishthira was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get free from sins incurred from fighting with his kinsmen, but he became anxious to get some wealth for that. When no surplus funds outside of fines and tax collection. So as we know that when Kurukshetra war was over, Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to perform Aswameda yagna because he wants to free from all these sinful activities. Though Yudhishthira Maharaj has not committed any sinful activities, but he thinks that because of me that all my cousins, my Pitamaha and my spiritual master Dronacharya and all my kinsmen were, I only killed all these people. Because of me it has happened. Because we know that in Kurukshetra some 64 crores of people have left their bodies during that time. It was so massive war. So nobody can expect that. So we can just imagine how much expenses they have incurred for the soldiers, for the food, everything. Medical funds, all those things, you know how much it will take. So because of those expenses, because of this war, so we know practically even now when Russia was waging war against its counterpart. So there are huge expenses that has been incurred. So war means there will be a lot of expenses. So because of this Kurukshetra war in the state, the treasury has got exhausted. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was just thinking about performing Aswameda yagna. So he wants to be free from sinful activities. Though Yudhishthira Maharaj has not committed any sort of sinful activities, but still he claims that because of me being a samrat, I have killed so many people. It's really shame on my part. He was he was taking the humblest position, and he's himself having the blame on himself, because on the advice of Krishna only, Sri Krishna only, he has waged war against Kauravas, but still he accepts the mistake. He accepts that he has only committed all this sinful activity. Because of him, this Kurukshetra war has happened. Otherwise, it would have not happened. So generally we think, no, whatever mistakes we commit in our practical life, no, we say that no, I have not committed any mistake. Because of him only, because of that opponent party only we have committed. We don't accept the mistakes at all. So there is a general tendency of all the human beings that whatever mistakes we do, whatever the sinful activities we do, we just shift the blame on other people, or we shift the blame on other circumstances and on other occasions. So, but Yudhishthira Maharaj has a great magnanimity and has a great Vaishnava, exalted Vaishnava. He accepts his mistake. But generally we don't accept any mistake. Though we have committed, though we have created a miserable condition also, we will not accept mistakes. See, that is the greatest quality of a Vaishnava. So, on the instructions of Bhishmadev, Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to perform this Aswameda yagna. So, let me focus first. Let me throw some light on the Aswameda yagna. See, there are so many sacrifices like Rathasya yagna, Aswameda yagna, Go yagna. So Ashwa means horse here, the sacrificing horse. So according to the Vedic injunctions, the Aswameda yagna is performed the tenure of 1 year. So 1 year we have to take that. So it is very, very expensive. It's not so easy to do in this Kaliyuga. So in those days, in previous yugas, they were performing this Aswameda yagna. It was performed by so many kings and rishis. Not only Yudhishthira Maharaj, but Yudhishthira Maharaj was under the direction of Bhishmadev. He has taken instructions from Bhishmadev. So when Bhishmadev was in the deathbed, Bhishmadev has instructed so many dharmas like Pati Dharma, Raja Dharma, and so many dharma, etc., etc. So under the instructions of Bhishmadev only he performed this Aswameda yagna. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to perform this, there were no funds in the state, so the treasury got exhausted. So he was in anxiety how to mobilize funds. So he was in that anxiety. So because Aswameda yagna needs a lot of funds, so expensive, one cannot imagine. We need a lot of ingredients, we need a lot of pure ghee, And also we need especially pure Vedic priest also we need. So which is not at all practicable in this Kaliyuga. So because we are all by birth itself we are Sudra, but by samskaras and getting association from the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, we will get the purification so that we can cleanse our heart. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to perform this, let me throw some light on Aswameda yagna. Aswameda yagna is it is performed because the other inferior kings has to accept that the particular king as the samrat or the supreme. So then only he can initiate for this Aswameda yagna. So when Aswameda yagna is initiated, one white horse will be sent throughout all the kingdoms, and along with that white horse, there will be so many soldiers at the back of this white horse. So the white horse will keep roaming around in the kingdoms. So whoever the king stops the horse and wants to, if he wants to neglect or reject, if he doesn't want to accept the king as a samrat or the supremacy, then he has to stop that horse. Then he has to wage war against those soldiers. So if he is able to win against those soldiers, then he can keep the horse himself. Otherwise, he has to accept the supremacy of the samrat, of the king. So who is performing this Aswameda yagna? So generally, Aswameda, like this, it will take 1 year for that cycle. So if all the kings accepts this, and when if the horse and other soldiers come back to the position of that particular kingdom, particular king who is performing Aswameda yagna, then he can start or initiate the Aswameda yagna. So then that horse will be sacrificed that in yagna. So people may wrongly misguided because they are sacrificing horses, go. So we cannot pasu and cow and all those etc animals. People have been misguided in this Kaliyuga, in this modern world. So that is so because keeping this as a base, they are slaughtering all those animals, especially cows, which is where Krishna, where it is mentioned in Vedic injunctions that Go Brahmana Hitayacha. When we offer the bhog to Krishna, we will chant this sloka. Go Brahmana Hitayacha means it is Krishna is very hita for Brahmanas and cows. So keeping this as a base in the modern world, they are misguiding the people, and they are getting misguided also. So why these animals have been slaughtered in this yagna kunda means because when they select the animals which are about to die. So at the last stage of that animal, so they offer that animal to that kunda, and the Vedic priest should be very very qualified, so that the Vedic priest can chant the mantra in a very prolific manner. So if the mantras are chanted properly, then that animal will get the next birth, which will be promoted to the human form. So that was the result of chanting the Vedic hymns. So the Vedic priest should be very very qualified. He should be Chaturvedi, and he should also be very highly qualified. So if his mantras are if he commits any mistakes when he is chanting the mantras, then he will not get the result. So we can come to the conclusion that the Vedic priest is not qualified. So that was the thing. That is why the animal slaughtering was done during those period. So now it is not in Kaliyuga, it is not been recommended, but people are taking advantage of that, and just because they want to satisfy their tongues, to satisfy their senses, they are slaughtering so many innocent poor animals in this modern society. So we have the we have the duty, or we have the responsibility to guide the society. So and another thing, Prabhupada is mentioned about the Vipra and the Brahmanas. The both the meanings are same, but Vipra is little different and from the Brahmana. So there are three types of Brahmanas: Vipra, Brahmana, and Vaishnava. So Vipra means one who performs karma kanda, and which leads to the result of promoting to the higher planets. So that is karma kanda, and he is also a very good expert in astrology also. So by giving the muhurta, he will tell what is the jataka of this particular child. That's how the Yudhishthira Maharaj invited the Brahmanas, the Vipras, to tell the astrology of King Parikshit Maharaj. So when so that is a little difference is there. So that is the before first step to the Brahmana. So that is Vipra. So he leads to the society to perform the karma kanda activities, and that leads to promote to the higher planets. But Brahmana is highly qualified, is very expert in all Vedas, and he also there are six occupational duties according to Manusmriti for Brahmana. So he has to study the Vedas, he has to distribute the Vedas, he has to share the Vedas, and also he has to accept the charities. That charities he should use it for the service of the Lord. Like that, there are six occupational duties of the Brahmana. So and also there are the nine qualities of Brahmana also. So samo damo tapasvatam shanti arjamevata gnana vignana masikam brahma karma svabhavajam. So it is mentioned in Gita 18:40, I think 40-42. So the peace, the qualities are like this for Brahmana. It is peace, tolerance, merciful, and religiousness, tapasya, and all these things the Brahmana should have these qualities. So when charity, when it comes to the point of charities, we should be very, very careful. We should be very cautious. We should take the counseling and advising of a senior devotees in our society while giving charities also, because charity comes from home. So we say that there is a saying. So charities should be, if you just refer Gita, Krishna says in 1740, I think 1720 or 1740, he says that charity should be given to the proper persons at a proper place at a proper circumstances. So that should not be neglected. So we can see some section in Bagavatam also. King Ruga has given charities to the Brahmanas. When he gave Brahmanas the thousands and thousands of cows to one Brahmana, so he took it and went it. He took it and he's gone to that place, his place. So when second Brahmana came, he also gave some thousands and thousands of cows. So when second Brahmana took, there was some mistake has happened because of his negligence. One cow has been wrongly. It has gone to the second Brahmana, and first Brahmana comes and asks the King Ruga, saying that one cow is missing, but I want this particular cow. So then Ruga says, he approaches the second Brahmana, and second Brahmana says, I will not give it. Once you give the charity, I will not return it back. So because if you do charities, if you give in right time charity, the left hand should not know. That's what the elderly people say. So when Ruga was put in a dilemma, the first Brahmana says, I want a particular cow. So then Ruga requests both the Brahmanas, I will give another thousands and thousands of cows as a charity. Please accept, please forgive me. So both the Brahmanas have rejected it and they cursed him to become a lizard. So because of the negligence of King Ruga, but Ruga was a very great Vaishnava, very great generosity. He's got a quality of a generosity, but still because of his negligence, he has become the